Welcome to the Vending and Arcade Show. My name is Nathan Johnson. I'm going to be joined with Gabriel and Tyler today. We're going to be talking about how Tyler got into his claw machine business. He does some Keymasters, a lot of claw machines. He has, I believe, over 30 machines, so we're going to get into all that today. And something very notable about Tyler is he pretty much only buys used machines. He gets them for really good prices. He fixes them up, and he's going to tell us all about that today. So without further ado, I'll give it to Gabriel.
My name is Gabriel, and I'm from Claw Oasis. I live in Nevada, but I operate in Utah, Idaho, and Nevada. I operate arcades, and I have a route. I have a lot of mini claws. I have a lot of big machines, too, but I have a lot of mini claws. That's all I got for you.
Tyler, introduce yourself to all the viewers. What do you do? Where you live? What do you route? What machines do you route? All that kind of stuff.
Hi, my name is Tyler. I run Coin Fusion LLC, and I'm based out of Illinois on the west suburbs of Chicago. Mainly route in the, I'd say, in the kind of in the area of Elgin, Illinois. I go as far down as like Oswego, and then Aurora, and I think that's pretty much the gist of where I'm at in terms of Illinois. I buy lots of used equipment, as I'm sure you can already kind of tell, but a lot of it was used based on just people upgrading to newer equipment, and then I kind of got their hand-me-downs, paid not too much for it. But yeah, I do have some new ones here and there that I also like. As far as the new ones, most of them are NeoFunds cranes, and I've also picked up some damaged ones from CandyMachines.com. Got
There you go.
those. They sold them. There's a funny story, but we won't get into that now. But they sold some damaged ones with like shattered glass or dents here and there, and I got those for a decent price. I mean, it wasn't like a steal or anything, but good enough that I was willing to pay their price. And then I fixed those all up. Had to buy a bunch of parts off them to get those working, but
So I
yeah,
guess before we go a little bit further into detail, how many machines do you have? How many locations do you have? Kind of go through your best location, your worst location, stuff like that.
okay, so I have out on route right now, I think I've got like 34, 35 cranes, including redemption games like Keymaster, Barber Cut, stuff like that too. And total cranes and like all my stuff, I'd probably say I'm somewhere in the 50s.
Pretty good.
A lot of it's sitting in like storage or in my garage and stuff, just kind of waiting because there's been a lot of just like good deals, so I kind of had to, just pick them up where I can. But yeah, store those for right now until I find somewhere for them.
So what made you want to start in this business? Run us through what got you into all this.
So ever since I was a little kid, I used to always play the claw machines, and I really got addicted in like middle school when I found out like, oh, there's more than just like Walmart. There's Steak and Shake, there's Meijer, there's a bowling alley, there's like all these arcades around me I didn't know about. But yeah, once I got hooked on those, and I was like, I want a machine of my own someday. But they were so freaking expensive. They're like $1,000, and middle schooler, you don't got no money. So what I ended up doing is I saw the Claw Craziness video. He's a YouTuber. He doesn't post as much anymore, but he showed on a video he bought an Alibaba claw machine kit from this company over here in Ohio. It's called Holland Computers. He built his own custom claw machine with real internals from a real claw machine. And these internals are being sold for people who, they had their machine get struck by lightning or something. They just need all new internals. But yeah, so I bought one of those kits and I built my own cabinet frame to put all of it into. It took months to build. Me and my dad did it together, the first one. We painted it and then we mounted the rods, built doors for it, the whole shazam. And needless to say, after that came about, after like 4 months of building it, I was hooked on that. I would always go down in the basement and play that thing. Always. And then really what got me into the business side, my buddies, not too far away from me, they started by putting a claw machine in a bowling alley. And when I found out how much money it was making and really just how fun it was to have a machine that you get to go fill and have other people play on your restock, I don't know, I thought that was the coolest thing. And I wanted to do that too. So then I bought my first machine on Marketplace. I bought a machine, it was like $600. The guy was nice enough to even come and deliver it. So I think I think all in all, he wanted 650 delivered or something like that. And then I bought that, took many months of asking places, getting denied. But then I finally went in on this cold, rainy day. I went to this BP gas station and I basically, me and my dad went in there. We asked, guy didn't really give a response right away. He's like, oh, I'll let the owner know type of thing. Didn't expect anything out of it. Came back a week later and he said, sure, they said yes. I was like, wait, what? I was like, that's what it feels like to get approved for a location. Like, it's just that easy. So we put the machine there. And then I put that in there. Let's see, I came back 2 days later. It only had like $20 in it. And at the time, I remember I was used to seeing all these videos of people pulling out large stacks this big. Mine was like this. So it was a huge discouragement for me at least. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just give it till the end of the week. I'm not getting my hopes up because it hadn't even seen a weekend yet. It literally was, it got put there on a Sunday night and we had came in on a Tuesday afternoon to come check on it. So basically, give it to the end of the week. Turns out it actually had like $100 or $110 in it by the end of the week. And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that's such easy money. And like, I don't know, at like the time, I think back then that was a lot of money to me. Like, oh wow, you just got $100 just like handed to you. And all you got to do is split it commission wise with them.
Money that was passively earned, and especially at that age when the normal wage is $10, maybe $15 an hour at most. You just think of it in terms of hours. You think, oh my God, that's 8 hours of my life that I did not work, and I still made that money. I just drove the location once, collected it, cut the owner a check, and left. Definitely a good feeling.
Yeah, I literally just set the owner's money aside in an envelope when I got home, and then at the end of the month, then I gave it to him. He's like, oh, this is great. Like, let's keep it. Next thing I know, he actually moved it to an even better spot. He's like, oh, I want it right next to the door. Because originally it wasn't next to the door. It was kind of by their lottery machine, which is like further down. So I love that spot. Like, dude, thank you. And then revenue continued to go up ever since it got put in that spot. But yeah, that was really what got started. And then, let's see, 4 or 5 months later, I went and bought another one to go put on location. That one ended up being really hard to find a home for until I got my best location with it. How you know God had something better set aside for you. Yeah, I had to wait almost a year before I got that location. And
That's your high foot traffic location?
Yeah.
And kind of go into detail a little bit and what that's turned into today, that location.
So that location, I started with just the toy soldier. That was the 22-year-old one that we talked about. That one, let's see, we put it just by itself. That general manager, I think I reached out to, it took like 3 months of just emailing and waiting a few weeks for him to reply. In the long run, he was a pretty chill guy. He let me in, gave me a chance. We came in, and it was just the best feeling ever that day. Even though we had some truck troubles getting it, like we had to get the machine in the truck, but then it's my granddad's truck, by the way. It had the snow plow. It got like jammed up or something underneath. It started scraping the ground. So we had some truck troubles. Almost couldn't place the machine that same day, but then we made it work, got the machine in. It was like 8 or 9 at night, geez. And then we dropped the machine off. And it was just such a good feeling. I don't know. It just felt like a huge victory, just walking in, having everybody stare at you while you drag your machine down the aisle and then put it against the wall.
And I will say the feeling of wheeling in a large machine, a 31-inch toy soldier versus just a little mini claw, it feels so much better because you walk in and it's the place of business you got yourself into, and you're taking up this chunk, this 3 foot by 3 foot chunk where you stock it up with large plush. It feels like an accomplishment, especially when you're so young, starting a business like that. And to go further on how young you were, I think that a lot of people getting into this business are 30, 40 years old. They see it as a way to make passive money, maybe while they're working the jobs. And then in turn, they go to a place like candy machines. Maybe they go to Pipeline. Maybe they even directly import and they get brand new machines because they have the money to do so. Maybe they have some savings saved up. I think starting at a young age, both of us, mainly you though, starting at a young age with claw machines, it kind of led into the mindset of getting stuff cheap, trying to ROI on it, trying to refurbish it up, having a little more time than someone that's 40 years old working a full-time job, and taking advantage of that, taking advantage of having 3-4 hours a day to put into a machine, and only spending $100 on that machine, and then just taking the time to search eBay for parts and go out. I've seen you newspaper the whole machine and you spray paint it. That is definitely a large perk of what you do, and looking from an outsider perspective on how little you can spend versus how much you make on certain machines. Quick interruption. If you're enjoying the show, come join our Discord server. I will have it linked down below. If you're watching on Spotify, come over to my YouTube channel, Nathan Johnson, and you'll find the Discord in the show notes of this video. In future episodes, we're going to be doing Q&A segments, Game of the Week segments, business owner and operator segments, and horror stories, basically. And basically the Discord is going to be a bunch of ways you guys can give us your opinions, stories, all that kind of stuff, and we will be sure to share that on future episodes. Basically a big way for you guys to interact with the show. Go join down in the description below. I mean, this is definitely an interesting dynamic, and this is what I find so cool. Gabriel and I, we both import pretty much everything new, and if we don't import, we buy it new from candy machines or wherever. Obviously, a lot of my arcade equipment is not new, Jurassic Park, Transformers, whatever, but all of our cranes are. Tyler, on the other hand, everything he gets is used. I think, you've only got 1 or 2 machines new, and if it's
Two new
new, it's
ones.
usually damaged.
I do have 2 new ones that I got to take the bubble wrap off, but other than that, everything else I've had to scrub it clean with the Mr. Clean Eraser.
And what were those 2 new ones?
One was the Pin It from Candy Machines, and the other was the Ducky Treasure from Candy Machines.
But you
Both
just got the
excellent.
Pin It. You just got the Pin It. I forgot about that. So I guess with your locations, obviously you do cash and coin. Like everybody else, you got a route. Do you use credit card readers? What credit card readers do you use? Going all that kind of stuff.
So I do cash and then I do quarters. I just got into these credit card readers. They're Kiosoft credit card readers. The VXT, awesome product so far. Really, my only complaint is the non-user friendly website that they have where you can check all your reports. I think Nathan can back me on that. It's not user friendly at all.
No, not at all.
The one thing I do applaud them on is that compared to Nayax, you're only paying for the modem that the Kiosoft use. So you buy one modem and you can have up to 16 readers.
You're
on that
paying
one
for the
modem.
monthly subscription. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. For the monthly subscription. Yeah, the modem itself is like $250 or something like that. But, you get a return on investment after so many months because with Nayax, you're paying like $8 per reader or something. So
And
that's
when
why I
you
went
have a
with
location like you do, your biggest one with 6 machines, and then possibly looking into even adding more in the future. I mean, if you have six machines, you're getting close to your $50-$60 a month with Nayax. When you take a Kiosoft modem, you're only $14-$15 a month. You add that up year over year, you're paying off that modem really quickly, that $250 modem, and you're saving a lot of money going forwards. With that feature to Kiosoft is probably the one reason why anyone should go with them. I don't know. I mean, please enlighten me if there's any other company that does that. But on the credit card reader topic, I mean, what are you doing for cash versus credit card reader right now? I get at some of your locations.
Well, so I literally just figured out how to check the individual per machine earnings yesterday. It was because Nathan sent me a few screenshots of like where you click. So I checked that and it's kind of 50-50. Like there's some machines where they do all card and then no cash. And then there's the one right next to it. It'll, for example, do all cash, no card. So it's really hard to gauge so far, like if the card is like, I mean, yes, it's necessary. I've seen a boost in revenue, but I'm just trying to figure out like what the average ratio of cash to card is still.
That's something to figure out month over month, year over year versus
I've
day to day.
only had those readers like what, a month and a half at one location and then a month and then just like under a week at the third one.
So I guess back to the machines. This is the main topic we kind of want to cover with Tyler here because this is what he does best. Is with your machines. Walk us through a little bit of the process you go through when you take in a machine. What do you do to it? How do you refurbish it if you have to? Stuff like that.
So day one, you obviously go get the machine. Then you take your before pictures of how disgusting it is usually and how neglected it is. And then you drive off and you flip off the guy who sold it to you because he ripped you off and he didn't take care of it.
There you
No,
go.
I'm just kidding. No, you drive off and then you get out of there pretty quick because usually If I'm buying it, it means that it's a good deal and the guy shouldn't have gotten rid of it. Drive away pretty quick. Uh, then you bring it home. Machine comes out of the truck. Usually, the first thing I do is make sure that it's fully working. Every little thing has to work first, or it's not worth cleaning it. So it's usually sitting there in the garage, in the middle of the empty garage, all disgusting and uh, not looking too great. But then what I do next, check if everything's working. If it's not working, then I fix it, and that can sometimes it can take a day or two sometimes, depending on what the issue is. Maybe even weeks if I have to order parts. But if I'm having to order parts, I'm usually not buying it in the first place. It's not a good investment.
I mean, what are some of the fixes you've done? I mean, if any of you guys watching or in any of the Facebook groups, you see Tyler commenting all the time on how to fix certain things. I mean, what have you gone so in depth to do on certain machines?
I've seen people do some really real like bad jerry rigging of like, oh, here's a limit switch that isn't the right type of limit switch. They put it up there in the gantry and it doesn't click. Or they'll put a lot of it's mostly dirt and grime that I'm fixing up and cleaning, or having to repaint an entire machine.
Or yeah, I saw your toy soldier completely refurbished. You did a video on that, right? If people want to go watch that.
Yeah, it's not showing how I refurbish it, but showing kind of what it looks like when I first get a machine and how bad it is. But yeah, so there's a lot of cleaning that goes into it. Some machines, it ranges. I've spent as low as 10 minutes, just magic eraser some scuffs off and boom. And then there's some machines I've spent up to 5 days just nonstop. Wake up, go to bed, just scrub it, scrub it, scrub it, and like clean out the junk. And just like there's so many nooks and crannies, and just like everything's got grossness to it. It really gets bad on the bad end of the totem pole. I've even gone as far as to I sold one, traded one that was so bad because I couldn't clean it. Like even when I was getting rid of it, I was still trying to clean things on it.
And you put it in location, and the next week it's full of dirt again.
Yeah,
Pretty
that
much.
drives me up the walls. Just like it's like I went to the trouble to clean this, and now it got dirty again. Somebody put their foot on it, and it scuffed it up.
Some kid licked the glass.
Oh, I've had that too.
Dude, I swear some of the times I show up to the machines, it's like, how did you get it? Did you dip your hand in like grease? Just go to the food court, dip it in grease, smear it all over the machine, then try to lick it off. Like it looks like that sometimes.
Like entire pretzels in my coin mech rejects.
Oh my gosh. And what about that lock that you had someone wreck?
Which lock?
You said someone
Uh,
jammed something in a lock? You told me that a while ago.
yeah, I had on my toy soldier crane at my busiest location. They they shoved like a little pebble or something in the little keyhole on the padlock, and it drove me so crazy. I couldn't get the key to go in. So then I was at the point of trying to bolt cut it, and then I went in like a really busy weekend. Like I didn't even care. It was driving me crazy that I couldn't get into it. So then I came in with like a full-on saw, and then of course I go to that level of those measures right there, and then next thing you know, I was able to get the key in there. So then ever since that day, I've never had a problem with that lock. Just now I turn it backwards and then I lock it, so they can't touch the keyhole anymore.
Now, something I find very interesting about Tyler is out of the 30, 40 machines that he owns, I think I've ever only seen him sell 2, maybe 3 of them, where a lot of operators will get one in, they sell it, they get one in, they sell it. Maybe they get 2 in, maybe they sell 1. Now, this dude gets, tell everyone about that. Why do you get so, one would put it, attached to some machines? All of your machines, it seems.
Part of it's like it's hard to see it go because it's like, some of them have done so well for me, it's really hard to get rid of. I had one that was like excruciatingly painful to get rid of. It was my toy soldier because I put the guts into a new cabinet, but then like the original cabinet, every time I look at it, I would just think about how much money it made. It was like excruciatingly painful to get rid of. And it
So
ended up
even when
going
you
to like,
sell it, it's hard. So hard for you. There's never a time where you're like, just sell it. Who cares?
the only time I ever did that, I had a Super Mini that I put a claw machine kit into. I hated that thing. It was just so janky. I got rid of that so fast. I think I only got like 825 for it or something, but the cabinet was free, so it kind of levels out. I sold the only machine I regret selling. I should put it this way, yeah, regret. I had a 14-inch Super Mini It was the latest gen at the time, and I remember thinking, man, this thing is like the nicest mini crane I've ever had. But then a thought went across my mind, oh, if you sell this and then sell something else, you can go get a Sega Keymaster. And then
I remember
it got
that.
the better of me.
I
Got the
remember
better of
that.
me. I ended up selling, let's see, 2 or 3 machines to get that Keymaster, but Keymaster was pristine, and that's why I wanted it. It was $2,800. But yeah, I got rid of that Super Mini. I think I got like more than retail price was at the time for it. So it was pretty crazy.
I've seen some of the machines you posted on Facebook, Tyler. Some of those machines are nice. The toy soldier, I think you posted a picture of, right?
Yeah, the painted one.
Yeah. So how much would you estimate your old cabinet made you, the one you got rid of?
Gosh, it was probably somewhere between 5 and 10 grand maybe. And I kept
How
that.
much did you sell it for?
Well, so I didn't really sell it. It was kind of part of like a trade. So I gave
Okay.
somebody the empty cabinet, and then I got another. I got like a free spin empty cabinet, but it was a damaged one. That didn't
Wow.
end up working. So I basically ended up just getting rid of that cabinet. But I took all the guts out of it first. So
You're talking about a
and
Neo spin, right? Or the Neo
yeah,
Fun free spin?
yes,
Yeah.
it was from the candy machines though.
I don't
But
think they make those anymore, huh? I think they
they
changed the
turned it
name
into
since then.
yeah, they turned it to the pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up getting rid of that toy soldier, taking the guts out. It was a first gen toy soldier. Like it had not even the Coastal
Wow.
Amusements logo on it yet. It was like one of the first ones they ever made. And then that board is it's still running to this day. That motherboard, I took it and put it in a different crane.
Yeah, they last forever when they're high quality parts, man. They really do. They last a long time.
But yeah, it's 20 years old now.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And think about how much money it's made over 23 years. I mean, 10,000 with you, but 100,000 with somebody else. That crane is probably bought its own house.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was ready to die, and I gave it
Yeah.
another basically a second lifetime now.
Yeah, it's difficult. Some of those machines, I grow attached to certain things too, like certain machines. And this is just so cool. I don't want to get rid of it, or I don't want to grow from it. But I used to feel that way about mini claws because I really like mini claws and started my business. But now that I've grown, I've realized that mini claws are a good starter, but they're the entry. You entry with a mini claw, then 6 months down the road, you change it out because it's it's silly to use a mini claw when you have 22 inches and all these other machines that you can use in place. Why refill a machine once a week when you can refill it once a month?
To add to that, I guess, like when you say it's an entry level, you mean it could be an entry level for the whole business, or are you saying per location? I mean, kind of going a little more in
Per
that.
location. And I think that even somebody who's been in the industry for 15 years who might have 200 cranes to get some of the new accounts, a new restaurant that just opened, a new FEC, whatever. Some of those places, they're slide on room, and that's just the easy selling point. Is, hey man, this takes less than a square foot. And sure, later on you're going to take a lot more than 1 square foot, but at the beginning they don't understand that. And all they understand is this is going to be a pain in my butt. And then you start paying them, and then they're like, oh, okay, okay.
Oh yeah, the money talks for sure.
The
I've
money
had so
definitely
many
talks.
owners,
Yeah.
so many owners where
One
they're
thing I've
super.
learned is I can give an owner $100 bill and he'll look at me like I'm an idiot, but I can give him 101s and he's going to look at me like I'm the king. He's like,
I agree.
"Whoa, that's a lot of money." I'm like, "Dude, you're an idiot."
I had some owners where like they come off as very cold and arrogant, like when you first
Very,
come in.
very, yeah. And I get it. Imagine if you made 100 grand a month, you probably wouldn't give a shit about the world either.
Yeah, and then next
They
thing you know,
don't.
you hand them
Those
pile,
guys, they don't care.
hand 'em pile of ones, and then their frown turns upside down.
I've got a few location owners that don't even care about ones. I give them money and they're just like, "Thanks. Have a good day."
I have some that are
But
like, "Can you give it to us as like a check?" I'm like, "No, I prefer cash."
actually prefer check because I can keep track of it. I can keep track of exactly. I mean, you can do both with cash, but with the check, I have it on the checkbook. And be like, this is what I paid. I paid it this day. I paid exactly this much. I know they deposited it on this day.
Yeah, I got one that I'm probably gonna in the future have to just do like, you said there's like some sort of a drop where I can just drop the money into their account type of thing.
Zelle. So I know a couple people that do Zelle monthly
Yeah,
Zelles on the first of every month. They Zelle every one of their locations.
yeah, I
You
have
know,
a guy I've never met the dude. I just have to keep sending the money every month.
yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of, I guess you do you.
I got a guy that just bought a restaurant. He doesn't even want to take my money. I could keep texting
Really?
him. Let me pay my commission. I owe you 3 months of commission. He won't respond to me. I
Maybe
don't
it's
understand.
Ethan.
What?
Dude, I don't know. He just bought the restaurant, and he's not wanting to take my money. And I went into the restaurant because the machine was turned off, and I expected him to be upset. The machine was off because it was empty. He doesn't want my money. I was like, oh, okay. So I collected from it and tried to give him cash, and he didn't want it.
Oh my gosh.
I've never had a machine that was completely empty. Never.
No?
I've gotten down to 3 prizes, I think, and then I saw
Dude,
it at that point.
dude. I've had some empty ones. Ones that make you question, like, how did they even empty this thing out? Like, some of those zones, some of that should be dead at the bottom, but
No,
nope.
for
Yeah.
sure.
It must be winnable.
It was like a mystery bag one, so there wasn't too many on the play field. It was like a layer of gems and then like maybe 50 mystery bags with gift cards in them. But I had no idea how they even managed to win because I had it set to a level where I thought it was pretty hard. Apparently not.
Sometimes I go to a location not expecting the machines to be empty, and they're really empty. I'm like, payout must have whooped.
Yeah, first thing that I do if it gets cleaned out, that knob gets turned down a little bit.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, you got to.
And see,
Gotta make sure
I'm
you.
still one of those people that believes that you need the actual knobs. It's just like more for the operator. I like having the strength knob rather than have to go through 8 different menus to get to my strength. That's why I like the
It's
used ones
faster. It
better.
is a lot faster. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But at the
Chinese ones,
same-
I got a lot of. I got like 5 settings to adjust my grain.
But that means you can dial it in that much more.
You really can.
Yeah, you do get more of that precision. And the one thing I don't like about the strength knobs is that on these older cranes, some people have just messed with them and like the knobs go bad. So then it's like you don't get any precision. It's like one or the other, strong or weak. And then you have to go replace the knob and then it doesn't want to solder and it's just a big old mess. Had that on like 3 cranes.
You know what I run into is I run into lazy operators who are too lazy to solder. A lot of the operators, especially nowadays, specifically mini claw guys, they're too fucking lazy. They're not willing to sit there and solder a Niax or solder anything, solder the motor on. They're just lazy. A lot of people are using electrical tape, and it's not the correct way to do business.
And with a lot of the mini claw operators, I don't know if it's laziness or just, I mean, it's laziness to not learn, but they also just don't know how. They don't even know what soldering is. Some
But
of
I
them,
feel
it
like
seems
I could go buy a baby monkey, and I could teach that monkey how to solder. If I can teach a monkey how to, you know what I mean? Like, it is so basic. You could fucking teach anybody how to solder. Just takes a couple times, and don't breathe it in, and you figured it out.
No, if that mini is not wired for Niax out of factory, they don't run it.
They
Or they
can't
don't run a
handle it.
credit card reader. No.
No, then they don't know. They don't even know that all it is the 3 wires that go to the coin mech. I mean, that's it. That's all you need.
So easy.
Yeah, a lot of these guys they can't think about it. They're too busy worrying about their pizza location, making $50 a week.
The Kiosoft is nice because you just plug it into the bill acceptor. It's a plug and play.
Yeah, don't let the mini guys find out about Kiosoft. Don't
No,
let them
that's
find out about
cheating.
Kiosoft. They have to solder it.
How many I've soldered? I've soldered like 30 of them. Fucking plug and play is cheating.
They need to solder.
I don't know why companies haven't done that. Like, why doesn't Niax have a 9-pin?
They do.
Harness.
They do. It's just not released yet. They do.
It's not released yet, dude. They're like they're
They do
supposed to be
have
the
ones.
best company for amusements, and they don't have any of this stuff.
No, they're not. They're
Like
not the
9 pins,
best
they're all
company.
universal, 110 volt or 12
Yep.
volt. They're the same on any machine. It would take a freaking monkey. A guy drooling over his keyboard could figure out how to make
That's
one
what
of
I'm
those.
saying.
We're talking about a publicly traded, ginormous company. They can't make a harness.
They're not willing to make the harness. It's not that they don't want to. They don't.
But why
they don't
not?
care.
When it's 3 a.m. and I'm sitting in front of a freaking machine in a mall, soldering a Niax reader, like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't-
considering to switch that Niax reader.
Well, if you've got multiple in there anyways, you probably should switch.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah. Some of the operators, they're even the older operators. I run into locations I'll go into, and they'll be like, "Yeah, there was this guy we had 5 years ago who only showed up twice in 5 years." I'm so sorry.
Honestly, out of all my cheap machines, I think this $200 one, in the long run, it has the biggest story behind it of like how I ended up with it. And it was a machine that wasn't even like, well, I'll tell the story real quick. So my buddies got it from Bolero. Bolero was throwing it away. Bolero basically slipped it to them for free, said don't tell anybody. And then they took it home. It was missing. Let's see. Yeah, it was missing like the gantry and stuff. Basically, it was just a pile of parts. Didn't work. And then we ended up, our local mall was closing. So we bought a Sweet Amanda's candy machine because the manager was generous enough and let us buy it. So then I owned a third of that. And then I ended up trading that third for the Bling King. I mean, yes, I think my third was like $200 or something on that Sweet Amanda's candy machine. Never got that working. We ended up selling it to a guy. Uh, I walked away with the Bling King. I was able to get it all fixed with parts that I was either given or parts that I had, and that it became a $200 machine. That was all I spent on it, and I put that on location. And to be honest, it's probably made like several thousands of dollars now.
And that's that
Quickest,
ROI. If you're at several thousands of dollars on a brand new $2,500 machine you bought from Pipeline or Canada, I mean, Pipeline, they can get up to 4 or 5,000. So you look at that and you see your earnings of 3,000. You're like, ugh, I haven't even ROI'd yet. It's been a year. Maybe at a slower location, maybe at even better one. It's been 6 months and you haven't ROI'd yet. You buy it for $200 and you ROI in a week or two, and you look at 3,000 or however much it is, and it feels like a much better number. And I would say for someone, if you're getting started and you don't have a lot of money, it definitely feels a lot better to get in cheap and see those numbers coming in versus maybe plowing all of your savings into 4 or 5 brand new machines, and then maybe it making only 500-600 a month. Well, if you make 500-600 a month off a couple machines, it's good because you got them for so cheap. But brand new machines, it's like, what am I doing?
yeah, like, oh, I gotta take 3 years to pay this off, little by little.
But I guess let's go into specific a little bit here with this whole ROI thing. What is your best machine? Like your cheapest machine that has then, and not your cheapest machine, the cheapest machine that you've made the most on.
That was the cheapest that I made the most on.
That one, not the E-Lout, the E-Claw.
No, the Elots, those things make like, might make like $50 or something each time I go if I'm lucky, because they're placed alongside another one.
Okay. Well, that might not fit what I just asked you, but go into that. That is a cool story.
So the Elots, Nathan can back me on this. He was there. I was buying it was a really rare Showtime crane with no glow front. It was all graphics. Real Coastal Amusements machine. It's like the blue trim with like the actual Showtime graphics. I really wanted it. It was Amusement Guy selling. I got
Yes.
there and
I have a full video on this. I have a full video on all this. We went there. I traded some super bikes for some money. I picked up a cut to win and another machine. But go on, Tyler.
yeah, so he did all that. And when I see the Showtime, I was disgusted. I was like, dude, like he had more than one clearly because this one did not match the picture. I was under the impression this whole time I was spending freaking like 1,000 on this pristine rare machine. And I get there and I see literal spray paint lines on the metal. There's like bubbles of paint. It's like dripped all over. I'm like, okay, this is unacceptable.
And we drove 6 hours to go to that.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, it was not close. For me, it was
3
3
or
or
4
4
hours.
one way. And yeah, I see
Either
this.
way, you drive all the distance to see a machine like that. It is a huge hit.
I see this, and needless to say, he could tell I was hesitating towards it. I'm like, I'm really taking this home. And then he's like, oh, you're not happy with it? I'm like, you showed me a picture of what I was getting per se, and it wasn't what I was getting. So I'm like, can you cut me some money off? Then we kind of negotiated out. I think he took off like 175 or something,
Yeah, I think
which
that's right.
I think we figured that out because like he didn't want to take a loss on the machine. At the same time, I knew obviously I'm just gonna go repaint it. I was just trying to give him a hard time about it, really, make him realize that what he did was a little, shady. So that machine ended up cleaning up really nice. It was a lot of work. I had to taper that all off, try to match the paint. We ended up having to replace a lot of the metal on it because it was rusted almost all the way through. So we replaced that with aluminum. And fun fact, aluminum cannot rust. So it will never rust ever again. That was probably some of the most work I've ever had to put into one machine. And looking back, if I had known it was going to be that much work, I may have contemplated even buying it, being honest. But that
But
machine
what came of getting that machine? What else do we get?
yeah, so after we got that machine, here's the real point of the story. And there was a random YouTube fan who had been messaging me that day in the car on the way there. And he said, oh, Amusement Guy has E-Lots. He told me he has E-Lots. He would sell them to you for 300 for all of them. I
The
said, no
mini
way.
elouts, the small
Yeah,
ones.
the ones that B&B Amusements used to run, the black ones that are on a pedestal, and they have like MP3 players or Zippo lighters in them. But yeah, this YouTube fan, he's just kind of like messaging me, and I'm seeing him say, "Oh, he has elots." He's like, "I know you're going there, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I know. I know. I told him I was going there, but." He's like, yeah, he told me he has all these elots. He would sell them dirt cheap, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no way they're working. I'm like, he's going to sell me like empty cabinets for 300 or something. But then we get there after the Showtime nonsense takes place. I say, you have elots, right? He said, oh, yeah, I do. He's like, they're at my house, though. I'm like, can we go take a look? He's like, yeah, no guarantees that they're going to work, though. I was like, wait, so they have the parts? And then he's like, oh, they might not. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll take a look. It's worth it. So I begged Nathan on my knees, can we drive the 15 minutes to his house? Nathan says, sure. So we go there, and then he opens up this trailer, and he gets out of his car, or he gets out of his car. He says, me and my wife are going to go shopping. Let me open up the trailer real quick. Give me $100, and whatever you fit in your trailer is like you can have. So then I'm going in these things with Nathan, and I'm like, dude, there's like motherboards in here. I'm like, we're
Some of
grabbing.
them.
Yeah, there were some motherboards, and then there was all the gantries were still there. I said, for $100, I'm like, let's try to fit like three. Nathan said, we're absolutely not fitting three. We're gonna take two. I said,
No way. They
okay.
would have all shattered each other, grumbling on each other. There's no way that would have worked.
I said, okay, fine. We'll take two of them.
And
So
10 gantries and 10 motherboards.
the back of his car was like this high-end gantry.
There's so many gantries. It's all that was in that van.
Yeah, so there was like 8 of those elots. I took like 8 of the gantries, took every motherboard I could find. I was like, if I can even get one to work, I would be happy. Needless to say, the next day I ended up getting both of them working in probably 2 hours or less. Just needed everything plugged back in, and I have no idea what his tech was smoking that day, but they just couldn't. They couldn't
No,
figure out their
that
parts.
that was the weird thing about the whole situation is we both kind of knew, Tyler and I both knew that like they probably went through them. They tried a couple things. They couldn't get them to work and they just threw them. They didn't do anything. They got them. They threw it in a trailer and that's all that happened. They had no idea. They had no idea anything about it. Neither
And
did
the
we,
reason
to be honest.
I don't think they knew because a lot of the issues was stupid little crap. Like there was limit switches that just didn't work, so I switched to the gantry, fixed it. Then there was some that had gears that had a little crack line down the middle, so when the motor would spin, it would spin the gear instead of the rod attached to the gear. So that was another little thing. Again, just switch the gantry. Like, yeah, they didn't do that. They also didn't know you could switch the middle part of the gantry, like the trolley car that goes left and right, and the part that goes front and back. I think they thought they were all one piece or something because they never, a lot of them, I just switched those two and it worked. And
Well,
then
see,
like,
that's the problem when you take a business like that where they get thousands and thousands of machines in and out all the time. They miss little things like that that someone like you could take advantage of.
yeah. So yeah, I ended up calling him up another time and I said, can I come get two more? And then he's like, oh, I'm really sick today. He's like, but I'll send someone out there to help you. I drive the 3 hours in our Subaru Outback, not even knowing if I'm going to fit more than one. And then I get there and I start parting these, or not parting them, I start grabbing these cabinets and stuff. I find another motherboard. I was like, dude, how do we not see this before? Grab the motherboard, and I was under the impression that they were going to be free just because he never said anything about money.
Yeah.
So then get there. I've been there for like 2 hours trying to cram these in the car, take them apart, unmount the pedestal. Then he calls me and he's like, oh, are you here yet? I was like, who? You didn't know I was here. That's great. I'm like, yeah, I've been here for 2 hours. I'm already done. He kind of was a little upset about that. Let's just put it that way. He's like, oh, I thought you were gonna knock on the door. I'm like, I actually did when I got there, and you didn't hear it. He didn't take that so lightly. But yeah, he was sick. So and then next thing you know, I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna try cramming anymore. I'm just gonna keep the two I have in the car, and boom. And then I called him when I was done. I said, okay, I want to be fully transparent here. Here's what happened. I came to your house. I knocked on the door. You didn't answer. So I just kind of got to work. And then he said, here, just give me $100 for the two that you got. He's like, I don't really care. He's like, those things were going to get melted anyway. But like, I mean, he literally said, come knock on my door. He's like, and then you're good to go. He didn't say he was going to come answer or anything. So I never would have done that otherwise. That's just not like I don't think that's right. Just go on someone's property and start digging.
No.
Definitely not. Yeah. Yeah, I'm an honest guy. I wouldn't do that. So yeah, I paid him his $100. He said thanks, and then yeah, I don't think he even knows if I got those working. Never told him. But yeah, I did. Total of actually total of 5 of them working, and I traded one away. Yeah, I
So
traded that for cut to win. $50 cut to win now, not a $50 ELOT.
so if you trade the working ELOT you got for $50 for a cut to win, the cut to win is now $50. Is that how that works?
Technically, yeah. I mean, I spent $50 and I came away with a cut to win. It was a China knockoff cut to win, but it says cut to win on top.
Yeah, it means it's a cut to win.
Yeah, does the same task, cut the string and rig you when you try to cut it.
So you've gone through a ton of cranes. You've had a lot of experience with a lot of cranes. When it comes to brands of machines and machines in general, specific machines, is there any one machine, one brand you will go to any day of the week you would recommend to everybody for used equipment?
Being 100% honest, I think I have two favorites. And it means that I have the most of those, that brand. I like the Coastal Amusements cranes. They make Toy Soldier, Showtime, Sweet Shop, Telephone, Black Tie Toys, Zany Zoo, all these other cool ones. But I really like those. I don't know, they feel really high quality, and like they have these linkages that keep all the wires safe inside, so that way, the claw doesn't get stuck in them or nothing like that.
There's
And
there's a
then
little characteristics about them that you just can't find in an import crane.
they have I call it the Pow Kai jump, because Pow Kai is the manufacturer. And what they did is on the toy soldiers, when it hits the top, it turns off the coil, and it causes it to kind of go like that. Just very quick. Turns it off, turns it back on at your VR2 string. So I like that about them. And I don't know, just like the parts on those, they're very like well made. Like, I mean, even I've tried to switch like gears and stuff, and they're not the exact same size because they're trying to make it proprietary to only
Yes.
them. Same with like their power supplies. They use different power supplies than anything else. They use
Proprietary motors. I found that out the hard way.
really like compact but beefy motors that are really heavy.
Oh, they go for 25 years sometimes. It's crazy.
They also use this really good plastic on like their gantries for the covers and stuff. Overall, I'd say one of those weighs maybe 4 to 5 pounds more than a standard gantry, so you can just tell that it's better made. And I've never really had any crazy issues with those apart from like, old age, because I buy used. After like a motherboard becomes 20 years old, it kind of starts deteriorating a bit. Had a few board issues, but
Well, any
and power
machine with
supply.
200,000 plays on it is going to be a little rough.
I think the machine with the record most plays would be my toy chest, and that's my second favorite brand, Fioli. Fioli makes amazing products. You can buy any of their stuff through Smart Industries, pretty much. Nowadays they have like a nice LCM display and stuff. Those things also never break, and I've heard a lot of bigger operators gravitate towards those. Now, don't get me wrong, Coast to Coast is also really good compared to some of the crap that's out nowadays. But one thing I have noticed is after those get to about 9, 10 years old, the boards start having relay issues, meaning that your motors are going to start engaging just at random times on their own and not stopping, which can result in a fire. So I had one that did that. Instantly, I replaced the board, not even playing that game. And I have a
Could
board
just replace the relay, but a little
Oh, I
easier to
tried
just
to
replace
replace
the
the
board.
relay. I tried to replace the relay and ended up damaging it further.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
so
why you got to
that's
send
gonna
it to your board repair guy.
I told him, I'm like, I know it sounds stupid. I'm like, I'll just tell you what the issue is, and then you can just fix it for me. Like, it's just gonna be the relay. He's like, oh, that's fine. So,
So Palkai or so Palkai Coastal Amusements, that's kind of your favorite manufacturer brand. Maybe Coast to Coast is a close second. Maybe not a
I
close
say
second.
Fioli makes coast to coast, but
Fioli's a second.
Fioli, yeah,
Okay.
because they make like the Prize Time Deluxes. They make the Prize Time Classic too. I think they make all the little duck cranes you see, like the My Little Ducks or whatever.
So there's your top 3. What is your bottom worst brand and maybe a second worst brand, but to focus on what is the worst brand you've ever dealt with or machine?
I mean, honestly, a lot of the China stuff, the not so big of brands in China, those ones can be kind of bad. I hate to rip on Pipeline, but I really don't like a lot of their build qualities. I've seen a lot of machines with missing metal and stuff just because people ripped it off or they ripped the graphics off. I also don't like the electronics that much. They are not 100% user friendly as some of the other companies like NeoFunds. And don't get
Yes.
me wrong, I like NeoFunds too. They kind of are the perfect balance of quality and budget, I would say, and that's what Candy Machines uses.
I think
So
nowadays
NeoFunds,
neo funds, like just for what these brands offer, I would think neo funds is probably a better go-to, at least in 2025 if you're buying new or even a couple years used. Don't get me wrong, Coast to Coast and Coastal, they have good cranes, they're good quality, but they don't make enough. Like there's not enough coming out from them. There's no
yeah,
choice. They only offer a couple machines. So I would say, in my opinion, Neo Funds as of right now is at least my go-to. Maybe a Tongaroo in a close second.
NeoFunds I like just because they're not. It's China, but without the glitches. That's what it is.
Yes. It feels like a quality crane. Like it feels like a smart kind of crane type
It
of thing.
does. It feels like almost like an Apple made a claw machine. I mean, except without, they're not like. I wouldn't call them. Yes, they're premium, but I wouldn't call them like as sturdy as like a toy soldier, for example. Like a toy soldier, if you have a location that you just want to make money and not have to worry, go get a toy soldier. If you want to be flashy and look nice, you're gonna
And
go get a
not
Neo.
worry as much. Yeah, and not worry as
Yeah.
much.
Still won't have to worry as much, but you know, I've heard horror stories about Neo funds too, how like anything goes wrong, you just have to replace the board. It's like
Yes.
it's just very quick and it's like, oh, it just died. Or like, oh, my lights just don't turn on now.
It's the board. Everything's in this. It's this small.
It's
The toy
literally
soldiers
yeah,
is
it's
this.
like a square. Toy soldier, yeah, it's I like the bigger boards though. They have more protection against all the nonsense, like people potentially zapping your control panel with their static electricity charged fingers. Like China cranes, I think you can zap them and they'll just turn off sometimes.
Well,
But yeah,
and
I'd have to say
that's
the
another
worst
perk
is
to you is you get these larger boards that have swappable relays and swappable just ways to actually repair them versus something like Neofunds or Tonga or Rainy, or even some of the newer boards. I know Coast to Coast, you've mentioned a lot that their boards are just, you can't fix them. You can't fix any of
new
the new
ones
boards.
now.
You buy new ones. If the board goes bad, you buy a new one. That's what the standard is nowadays. When you're an old toy soldiers, you have a board repair guy, or maybe you try to replace it yourself and you can keep it working. You can out paying $500 for a board.
Yeah. And that's what's nice. The new ones, it's like, yeah, you just go spend like $50 on the board, but it is going to go out more often. Toy Soldier, it's like if you have to buy a board, something's seriously wrong. But yeah, I'd say my two worst probably Pipeline and then that company YES. They make the baby bear ones that Coast to Coast now distributes, which I really don't like. They
So the
have,
new Coast to Coast, you're saying is one of your least
yeah.
favorites.
I mean, yeah, they're flashy, but like I legit saw one of their new four-player console cranes at a round one, and I pulled on the control panel and it flexed the glass. Instantly, I realized it was acrylic. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, they don't even do real glass anymore. It's acrylic. All just for the looks of it to have the control panel. Wow, it's mounted on the glass.
Oh my gosh.
If you mounted a control panel on the glass, it would get shattered when a kid leans on it. So
Yes.
they did acrylic. But yeah, Baby Bear is probably, honestly, I'd put them below Pipeline. They look, the cabinets and stuff look nicer than the Pipeline ones, in my opinion at least, because it's Coast to Coast Part 2, really. However, the electronics are a level beneath Pipeline, I would say. And Pipeline, fun fact, Gary Balaban, he's awesome. He is the one who created Coast to Coast in the first place and sold it to Elout. And then he created Pipeline after that. I don't know. I wish he still made the old stuff like he used to. That was his prime. I just think I like him as a person. He's a really cool guy. I've talked to him. He's excellent. I just think his products need a little bit of work.
They do. They definitely do. So now that we have a good idea of you and what you do with your business, what would you tell a viewer if they wanted to get into the business, kind of like you did, do it on a little bit of budget? What would your advice be to them?
If it's your first machine, I would say go check Facebook Marketplace, check eBay in your area. Get a used one that's a best tip I can actually give. Get a used one, but not only that, you're going to go look at your local places and see what type of brand machine they have. Hopefully, it's not a new and flashy one that they just upgraded. Look for ones that have been there for like, it's been there for years and stuff, but actually like study it and be like, okay, what brand is this? Is it a toy soldier? Is it like a toy taxi? Something like that. And then go seek those out on Marketplace. Because then you get a used one, but it's actually going to last and it's going to be good. And you won't have as many problems out the gate. However, if you are not a very technical person, you're not looking to fix little issues, then I would say go to candy machines. Honestly, candy machines, they literally have drop-down menus on their site, and you can pick everything. The workers there are excellent. They'll just set it all up. You tell them, like, hey, I don't know how to set a claw string. They'll set one for you. Hey, I don't know how to mount a bill acceptor. They'll mount it for you. I mean, yes, you're paying for it, but at the same time, you're getting the best value for your money. You might spend like 2-3 grand on a machine, yes, which that's actually a pretty good deal because the machines nowadays are way better than the ones in terms of flashiness and looks. They are way better than what was out 15, 20 years ago, I would say. And you're paying about the same. So you're getting, it's almost like inflation doesn't exist if you're getting a nicer, brighter, flashier crane. And someone's actually going to help you set it all up. So yeah, I would say if you want to put in the technical work like I do, go get a used one on Marketplace. If you don't want any issues, you just want to start making money, go get one new from candymachines.com or Pipeline. I mean, you could do Pipeline, they'll hook you up the same. In my opinion, I don't like the electronics as much.
All right, so I guess that wraps up the show for this week. Tyler, where can we find you on your social medias?
You can find me, Facebook is Tyler Gettinger, Gettinger. Instagram is also Tyler_Gettinger. And then YouTube is Taco Tantrum. Came up with that in middle school. Just stuck with it. But yeah, that's kind of where you'll see some more in depth of like gameplay and my cringy middle school nonsense from like years ago.
And a lot of the stuff Tyler's talked on this episode, he's uploaded a lot of videos on it, and I've uploaded a couple videos with Tyler, so definitely go make sure to check out both of our channels. I will link those both in the description. With that being said, that'll do it for the show. Make sure to tune in whenever we upload a new one. Stay tuned. See you guys in the next one.